Hello and welcome to this AutoCAD Basics tutorial. Today we'll be going over the things you need to know the first time you open AutoCAD. When you open AutoCAD for the first time, you'll be brought to the Start tab. On this screen, you can see your recent drawings and have access to some useful AutoCAD links. As you become more proficient using AutoCAD, you might find that you no longer have use for this screen. If this is the case, you can turn it off by changing the Start Mode system variable. I won't go into system variables now, but we'll cover them in depth in a future video. From here, our first step is to create a new drawing. We have a couple of options how we go about this. I could click on the plus on the drawing tab to create a new drawing using the default template, or I can click on the AutoCAD menu and click new. When I make a new drawing this way, I'm given an option to select a drawing template. You might wonder why you would want to use templates, but the answer is quite simple. Templates allow you to have all the drawing settings preset. This includes layers and layer settings like color, line type, fonts, plot styles, as well as layouts. If you work for an organization, they will surely have templates set up to improve workflow by removing the need to repeat tasks, but also ensure they maintain quality and uniformity from drawing to drawing and person to person. If this is your first time using AutoCAD, or this is a fresh install of AutoCAD, I recommend checking the drawing units that have been selected. Many disasters have occurred because the wrong units were used. To view the units, we type units on the command line here at the bottom of the screen. Here you can see the drawing units that have been selected. I won't tell you what your settings should be because that will be determined by your own individual use case. I mentioned the command line before. If you have had no experience with AutoCAD before, you are probably wondering what that is. The command line is probably the single most important tool you can use to make the most of AutoCAD. The command line allows you to type commands in and operate the functions of AutoCAD without having to click buttons or go through menus. At any point, unless you are within another operation, you can start typing and it will be entered onto the command line. As with most things in AutoCAD, you can customize how you view the command line. The two main ways people operate is to either have dynamic input on or off. If it is on, the command line will appear next to the cursor. It is off, the command line is at the bottom of the screen. There is no real difference as to the functionality, it is all down to personal preference. Next we have the ribbon. In the ribbon, you have access to the various AutoCAD functions through menus and buttons. This is useful because you can get an idea of what a particular function does based on the name and icon image. It is also helpful to hover over a button and it will show you the command used to call this function. If you continue to hover, a help screen will appear, giving you a quick hint as to how to use or what the function does. In the top right corner of the window, we see the view cube. The cube displays the current view direction and allows you to select the viewing direction quickly. This is very useful when working in 3D. At the bottom right of the screen is the status bar. This gives us access to a list of common settings that we toggle on and off regularly. The options shown can be customized by clicking on the three lines and ticking or unticking the options. The most commonly used of these is 2D Object Snap. When it is toggled on by clicking on it in the status bar or hitting F3, it allows you to snap to a specific part of other drawing objects. To select the snap mode, you click on the arrow and select the options from the menu. You can also see, while I hover over the button, it is displaying the shortcut key used to toggle the setting. This goes for all of these toggles if they have a shortcut key assigned. Another commonly used status menu button is Ortho Mode. When Ortho Mode is toggled on, it allows movement or drawing in the XY direction only. Use this, for instance, if you want to draw square. Now we have a basic idea of how to use AutoCAD, let's draw a simple gear to demonstrate. I will start by drawing a circle for the outside of the gear. I can select Circle on the ribbon or type C on the command line. I'm not drawing this to any specific dimensions, just what looks okay. I will use the Snap to Center mode to draw a smaller circle for the inside of the outer ring, and do the same twice more for the central hole and outside of the central ring. To draw the spokes, I will start by drawing a reference line from the center out past the outer ring. Once again, I can select Line on the ribbon or type L on the command line. As I'm sure you can see, using the command line can save you a lot of time, and I encourage you to practice using it. I'm going to go for a simple spoke design and use an arc to describe one side. If I click on the arc, I can use these blue grips to manipulate the arc to look how I want it to. I could try and draw a matching arc on the other side of the reference line, but a much simpler way is to use the mirror command. I will select the arc and run the mirror command. I then select the base of the reference line and then the other end so that the arc is mirrored onto the other side of the reference line. I will select No to erase source object, otherwise I will lose the original one. The problem I have now is that these lines are crossing past where I want them to stop, so I'll use the trim command to remove the extra part of the lines. First I select the lines I want to trim to. I can select multiple lines. This allows me to trim between these lines or trim to either end of the line with one operation. I run the trim command and then click the part I want to get rid of. The opposite of this command is extend, which, as the name implies, allows you to extend a line. To create the spokes around the wheel, I'm going to use the array command. I select the sides of the spoke I have just drawn and run the array command. I'm going to select the polar option as the array type we are going to use goes around the circle. Then I select the center point, and you can see it has arrayed the spokes around the central point. I have many options to edit the array, but in this case I'm only going to change the number of objects arrayed around to 5. It will then space them evenly around the circle. Finally, I will add the teeth to the gear in much the same fashion as I did the spokes. This time I'm going to offset the reference line to make each side of the tooth. I type offset on the command line, then type the distance that I want to offset the line by, then click on the line and select which side to offset to. Now I'm going to draw a line for the top of the gear tooth. I will have ortho turned on so that the line is horizontal. I want to put a chamfer on the corner of the teeth, so I will type chamfer on the command line. As you can see, on the command line, there are some options relating to the chamfer. I want to set the length of the chamfer, so I will hit D for distance, as the D is highlighted blue. Then I will enter the chamfer distance and click each line to chamfer the corner. Lastly, I will tidy up the line work of the tooth. Then, as we did with the spokes, I will array it around the wheel. And there we have it. I hope you have found this video useful to help get you on your way to being an AutoCAD user. If you have, please consider giving this video a like or subscribing to my channel. And as always, see you next time.